There are few things more exciting to see early in an NFL season than a rookie quarterback balling out. That might be an understatement to describe what Jayden Daniels did to the Bengals defense on nationally televised Monday Night Football. Daniels was electric, completing 21 of 23 passes for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns. His completion percentage of 91.3% against Cincinnati ranks first all-time among qualifying rookie quarterbacks. He averaged a whopping 11 yards per attempt and posted a passer rating of 141.7, the second highest among all quarterbacks in Week 3 to only Josh Allen. The offense was rolling all night, and Daniels' historic performance was capped off by an early throw-of-the-year candidate on third down to put the dagger in Cincinnati. Washington was up by 5, facing 3rd and 7 with just over 2 minutes to go in regulation. Most teams with a rookie quarterback under center would make a conservative call here to create any positive yardage, especially considering the defensive look. Cincinnati is showing an all-out blitz. There are 8 defenders on the line of scrimmage with off coverage from the defensive backs and nobody in the post. But instead of calling a conservative screen pass, Commanders offensive coordinator Kliff Kingsbury chose to fight fire with fire by calling for go routes from both of his number 1 receivers. The call displayed a level of trust in Daniels that you just don't see very often from coordinators with rookie quarterbacks. And Kingsbury was rewarded for his aggression. The all-out blitz generated a free runner off the edge, so Daniels had to fade away as he let go of the ball before his receiver, Terry McLaurin, was even 10 yards downfield. The ball was perfectly placed, allowing McLaurin to run under it and score, while Daniels took a huge hit from Geno Stone coming off the edge. The touchdown put Washington up by 11 and gave the heavily favored Bengals a loss at home. During the week leading up to the game, Bengals defensive back Cam Taylor-Britt was asked about Jayden Daniels and Washington's offense by the media. Taylor-Britt said, quote, "They keep it really simple for him. Nice college offense. Kingsbury's the OC. I heard his pass percentage is high, but he's only throwing short." Obviously, with hindsight, this was a thought that Taylor-Britt should have kept to himself, but he wasn't really wrong. Kliff Kingsbury's offense has evolved since he made the move from college football to the NFL, but his approach is still unorthodox for the pro level. As of Week 2, the Commanders go no huddle at the highest rate in the league. They call run-pass options, or RPOs, at the highest rate in the league. They call screen passes at the highest rate in the league. They line up in the shotgun at the highest rate in the league. All of these are characteristics of a college-style, quarterback-friendly offense. Taylor-Britt was right. The high rates of screen passes and RPOs prop up Daniels' completion percentage and keep his average depth of target low. The aggressive call on 3rd and 7 that put the dagger in Taylor-Britt and the Bengals defense was a decisive departure from the norm with this Washington offense through 3 games. Up to that point, they didn't ask Daniels to do much. He is in a quarterback-friendly environment, but he also played lights out in Week 3 against Cincinnati. Both statements can be true at the same time. On Monday night, Daniels showed significant improvement over Weeks 1 and 2 in his execution within structure. Take a look at this play from back in Week 2 against the Giants. It's first down about halfway through the second quarter, and Washington called a shallow cross-dig concept off of play action to the strong side of the formation. It tells Luke McCaffrey to run a crossing route from what will become the number 2 spot when De'Ami Brown goes in motion to the outside before running a dig route from the number 1 spot. New York is in a clear 3-deep look with off coverage from the wide corners and a post safety, which is the coverage structure that this route concept is designed to attack. When Daniels reaches the depth of his drop back, McCaffrey isn't quite open, but he's about to be. Daniels almost pulls the trigger, but he pulls it down when he sees the linebacker Micah McFadden in the window. At this point, Daniels could either wait for McCaffrey to get some more depth and layer this ball over McFadden, or he could check to the dig route, which is about to be wide open. But instead, he drops his eyes to scramble and takes a sack. Now, I want you to compare that play I just showed you to this one from Monday night. It's 4th and 2 in the first quarter, and Kingsbury calls a simple slants concept against a similar cover 3 look from the defense. When Daniels first reaches the depth of his drop back, he again has nothing. Zach Ertz is late to break out wide, and the hook defenders are all over the slants from the number 2 and number 3 receivers on the inside. But Daniels doesn't drop his eyes to scramble this time. He patiently waits for Luke McCaffrey to get over the flat-footed linebacker and delivers a good ball to pick up 30 yards on 4th down. Those 2 plays were fundamentally different, but both required Daniels to hang within the structure for slightly longer than he wanted to. We're already seeing him grow more comfortable with operating as the design intended. His progression speed is visibly quicker, and he's more willing to execute from inside the pocket whether or not his primary read is there immediately. But the scheme can only do so much. The defense calls ideal plays too, especially when Lou Anarumo is the one calling them. That's what happened on this key third down on Washington's game-winning drive. Cincinnati shows an ambiguous look pre-snap with the nickel, Mike Hilton, capped by a safety, which typically indicates that a nickel blitz is coming. Post-snap, the protection is sliding to that side, so the blitz will be picked up. But Cincinnati also sends Jermaine Pratt on a blitz from the other side. Pratt gets in free, and Daniels doesn't have a hot read built into the concept, so he's immediately forced to abandon structure. He rolls to his right to evade the free runner and finds Terry McLaurin just ahead of the sticks to pick up a first down. On Monday night, we saw Daniels not only execute within structure at a much higher level than he had in weeks 1 and 2, but also rise above the structure to create a positive play when the offense was out-schemed. His performance was awesome, by far the best we've seen from a rookie quarterback this year. But there are still a few areas where Daniels needs to improve, the most glaring of which is how he handles pressure. At the surface, Daniels has solid passing numbers under pressure. On a per-play basis, he's completing 50% of his passes, averaging 5.9 yards per attempt, and ranks 4th among 31 qualifiers in passer rating under pressure. But he's only thrown 12 passes on 36 pressured dropbacks, and that's a result of his tendency to hold onto the ball when he feels pressure. Take a look at this play from week 2 against the Giants. It's 3rd and 13, and Washington calls a spear concept, which tells 2 receivers to run intersecting deep over routes with a clear out post route from the number 1 to the field side. New York is in a 2-high safety shell pre-snap that will roll into cover 3 buzz post-snap, which makes the spear concept effective, but it takes a long time to develop. When Daniels reaches the depth of his dropback, he's got nothing. Neither of the over routes have broken. But the post route is about to drag the post safety away from the middle of the field, leaving Luke McCaffrey wide open. Daniels feels a little bit of pressure coming up the middle from Dexter Lawrence, and he drops his eyes to scramble. If Daniels had instead kept his eyes up, he probably would have had an 85-yard touchdown to McCaffrey on the deep over coming from the field side. He scrambles and picks up 14 to convert on 3rd and long. So this gets logged as a positive play, but he left points on the field and subjected himself to a big hit that could have been avoided. As of week 3, on 36 pressured dropbacks, Daniels has taken 9 sacks and has scrambled 15 times, which is the highest scramble total by 7. His throw rate under pressure is only 33%. That's the lowest in the league by a lot. This was my biggest issue with Daniels coming out of college because he had the same tendency at LSU. In 2023, his passing numbers under pressure were very good. He completed 50% of his passes, averaged over 11 yards per attempt, and posted a passer rating of 123.5. But those numbers don't account for the pressured dropbacks on which Daniels didn't actually throw the ball. He was pressured 104 times last season, but only threw on 50 of those pressured dropbacks. Among 41 qualifying Power 5 quarterbacks, he had the lowest throw rate when faced with pressure. This issue was overlooked back then and will continue to be overlooked moving forward because Daniels is so good in the open field. But he can't sustain this habit of constantly trying to scramble when he's faced with pressure without risking injury and missing opportunities for big plays through the air. The reason why this issue didn't show up as much on Monday night is because the Bengals couldn't generate much pressure. Against Cincinnati, Daniels was only pressured on 7 of his 32 dropbacks for a pressure rate of just over 20%. That was the 5th lowest pressure rate among all quarterbacks in week 3, according to NFL Pro. Washington's offensive line has performed very well through 3 weeks, but outside of Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals don't have anybody who consistently generates pressure. The heavy blitz that Cincinnati sent on 3rd down at the end of Monday's game put pressure on Daniels, but the throw was predetermined. Daniels decided to target McLaurin before the ball was even snapped. This isn't an issue of his ability to throw a good ball under pressure. We've seen him do that. The issue is in his ability to keep his eyes up and continue to execute within structure while the pocket collapses. Washington will face teams with a better pass rush going forward, and those matchups will challenge Daniels to get the ball out under pressure. That's why I still think that despite an awesome performance on Monday night, there will be ups and downs for him this season, as there are with any rookie quarterback. Progression in this league is almost never linear. Very often, young quarterbacks need to take 1 step back before they take 2 steps forward. So if we see Daniels struggle against Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns in a couple weeks, don't panic. As long as he remains on his current trajectory of improvement in the long run, the future is very bright in Washington. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, drop a like, drop a comment, hit subscribe. Anything you guys can do to help me continue making these videos means the world. I'll be back either Friday or Saturday with my top 10 throws of the week, and spoiler alert, Jayden Daniels will make an appearance. So until then, take care.